My name's Eric, guys, and then today I'm on the negative side, and we're, just to reiterate, we're pro-NSA. And so the affirmative side is like they're more worried about civil liberties and privacy. And what's good are some few civil liberties if we're dead. That won't really matter if we're dead. So the NSA exists to protect the future of the country. Even it's stated on the website, they deliver next generation capabilities and solutions that meet the challenges of tomorrow and drive solutions from invention to operation in support of national security and U.S. government missions. So we cannot really ensure the future of our future, or ensure the security of our future, if we are open and vulnerable to terrorist attacks. And they stated that metadata is useless, but with the metadata, we were able to eliminate prevent some terrorist attacks. Example one, Keith Alexander, director of the NSA, he said the National Security Agency's controversial intelligence gathering programs have prevented 54 terrorist attacks around the world, including 13 in the United States. And one specific case is the NSA stopped an Islamic extremist named Najibullah Zazi, who planned on bombing the New York subway. And then another successful prevention of an attack was at the New York Stock Exchange. Charlie Savage, a Yale graduate from the New York Times, he said that the NSA had discovered and disrupted a plot to bomb the New York Stock Exchange. So this proves that the NSA is effective with their prevention on multiple terrorist activities, so metadata is pretty useful. And without the NSA, according to Barack Obama, we are at risk. He states that I don't want us to be in a situation in which where for a certain period of time those authorities go away and suddenly we're dark and heaven forbid we've got a problem where we could have prevented a terrorist attack or apprehended someone who was engaged in dangerous activity. So without the NSA, we will have a very difficult time of knowing and preventing terrorist activities, and then eliminating the NSA would expose us to risk of espionage. According to the National Center for Policy Analysis, it exposes Americans to risks that countries that mean us harm might be able to steal information critical to our national security and sell it to those who mean us harm. So it is pretty much impossible to track such individuals that mean harm without the NSA. And even if we do figure out who the individual was over time, they might have already escaped, or we can't, so we don't have any jurisdiction to actually punish them. And then another reason the affirmative side was they wanted to preserve security and privacy at the same time, and there is no such thing as preserving total security and total privacy at the same time. And the chances of the NSA reading or listening to your conversations are very low. And some evidence from Christian Nadev Kalamor from the National Public Radio, he says, what does the NSA monitor? Metadata. And then metadata is what Zach stated earlier, data of data. The NSA does not monitor the content of the conversation, but rather the time call, who is being called, and who is calling. And then privacy is already jeopardized with multiple government programs, such as the IRS, Medicare, Medicaid. They have files on all of us, like our financial records, our medical records. Eric Posner, professor at the University of Chicago Law School, he says, critics of the metadata program rightly worry about the risk of government abuse, but the same point can be made about any government depository of information, your financial records or medical records. So Medicare, Medicaid, IRS, they basically have the same liabilities as the NSA, and so citizens with nothing to hide should have nothing to fear from the NSA. On their website, they say that we will continually strive for transparency in all our review, monitoring, and decision-making processes. So the NSA surveillance will not even come close to reaching citizens unless they are wanted criminals. Those that have nothing to hide will not even be affected by NSA, so it'll be like they're not even there. And the NSA has not done anything out of their stated mission, so they have not abused the power. According to the National Center for Policy Analysis, the most important thing to keep in mind is that there is, at present, absolutely no indication that the NSA has done anything illegal or outside the parameters of its mission statement. So the NSA monitors external threats to the U.S. and does not really turn attention to American citizens unless there is probable cause. And more about their possible abuse of their information and power, the NSA has a checks and balances system. The National Center for Policy Analysis, again, they say no matter how uncomfortable you are sharing your information, there are a number of checks and balances that prevent the NSA from detaining you, questioning you, or punishing you in any way, no matter what they know. The checks and balances prevents the NSA from using any information gained through surveillance to detain or deprive you of your rights without cause. And the NSA did not really affect people's lives until they were exposed. According to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, first published by The Guardian in June 2013, that confirmed the domestic spying by the NSA. So the NSA was established they were established 61 years ago, or they weren't exposed 61 years ago, and people lived their lives normally and were able to not be affected by the NSA until it was exposed. So they really had no impact in people's lives besides protecting them. And also, the NSA abuse is not as bad as a terrorist attack. So even one terrorist attack is likely more devastating than several instances of abuse of NSA power. So we don't have to prevent many terrorist attacks to make the NSA worthwhile, because just one is devastating enough. Thank you.